Okay, so actually, let me fix the camera a little bit. Holy cow! There we go. That's actually now maybe more to the. It's hard to get both knees in frame whenever I do this. Having the awesomely effective, iconic, often. I forgot what you meant. I made it worse again. Holy cow! Okay. Okay. Okay, it's still not perfect, but quite frankly, I don't care. So I have a low and high and active kindness before I begin. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So foremost, it got cold yesterday and damp. In fact, this whole week is supposed to be cold and damp and rainy. But surprisingly, there are times like the sun was legit peeking out. The sun's actually peeking out right now. So the weather is, I don't know. I mean, welcome to no, seriously, I had a friend last night who posted that, she said, we get, welcome to upstate New York, where we get sun, sleet, and then sun again. And then sleet again. Like, pretty much all that, right? And then I said, sometimes you get all of that in the span of 24 hours. And then she's like today? I'm like, yes. Exactly like today. So that was funny. But yes, it was very cold yesterday and it wasn't very fun. But there are several highs I have. One, I got to spend some time with my family. I've been watching American Idol a little bit, and there's this one singer called Megan Danielle. She's actually my favorite to win the whole thing. And she made it to like the top 8, which is awesome. Okay, so that was really cool. And it was last night for dinner. My dad got a pizza that peppers and onions on it. Because, we need our vegetables in. But there's one other thing about, actually, there's technically 2 things. Not entirely sure. Here's the thing. There's 2 things I do want to talk about, but one of them is actually so big, I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to talk about the other one until tomorrow. So I'll focus on the main thing today. And actually, it does involve my act of kindness because I decided to do something kind for myself. Because, believe it or not, there is something I've always wanted to do. And I feel that yesterday was the first time I ever really took a major step in, in doing so, right? So, what did I do? Cue the drum roll. Pause for effect. Hold on. I want to make sure I didn't. Oh, hold on. I did not practice this at all. I'm trying to do like what they do in the cartoons. They were like, the guy just like pulls something out of like their back pocket or something, and then bam, it's here. I cue the drum roll. Pause for effect. I read a book. I read a book. Yes, Nick Cutler, a man who many times in the past has said how much he finds reading to be incredibly boring. Listen, I'm a kid, I don't watch TV, I don't want to read. And not only did I read a book, I read this book. A book that talks about, in my opinion, the most fascinating byproduct, being wine, of also what I think is the most fascinating substance on the face of the earth, being alcohol. Now, why does alcohol as a whole fascinate me so much? Well, by the way, this is not a plug, by the way. I'm just holding the book so people can get a good idea what it looks like. This is not, like, the people who made this book are not sponsored. I just want to talk about this book. But also a bit of a backstory about why I find wine so fascinating. Because I am legitimately hard-pressed to think of anything on the face of this earth that has been smothered or enshrouded in history, controversy, culture, food in general. Like, I just mentioned culture. Like, not pop culture, all of culture. I mean, alcohol is such... And when I say controversy, I do mean controversy. The Constitution of the United States of America has not one, but two amendments about it. One to ban it and then one to unban it. Which kind of makes me... Actually, you know what? That's something I really should talk about at some point. Like, do you really even need those two amendments in the Constitution anymore? I mean, because I really can make an argument for both sides as to why you do and you don't. Anyway, so, needless to say, for me personally, growing up, I was legitimately scared straight. Because the controversial thing about wine is, you know, for all intents and purposes, it is a drug. It is a mind-altering substance if used very much incorrectly. And being a person like me, who was absolutely afraid of dying growing up, I thought, I have I have no interest in having it. But all throughout my life, I see people having stuff like wine, beer, various spirits, you name it. Yet, again, I'm a kid who was very impressionable at the time, thinking, if it's so bad, why are all the adults drinking it? This is just a little bit before I knew there was actually something called the legal drinking age, which I never underage drank, by the way. I was a good little Catholic boy who waited until I was 21, okay? By the way, the blood of Christ in church doesn't count. It's been blessed by a priest, it doesn't count. I have spoken. Anyway, so you have quite possibly a substance that, again, is involved with so much controversy. Yet, people all over the world celebrate this, well, not just wine, alcohol as a whole. I mean, there are songs throughout history that sing of the praises of stuff like grog and mead and wine. Well, grog is a beer, kind of, so, yeah. You have stand-up comedians today that just talk about, hey, I got drunk last night, want to hear what happened? Stuff like that. Everything in between. And that's why I find it so fascinating. That's just the kind of thing alcohol is. And I find it fascinates me, it just does. So, one thing I kind of decided that I want to try and pursue is, and this is probably where I'm probably going to lose some of y'all, is I kind of toyed with the idea of becoming a sommelier. Now, for those of you who don't know what a sommelier is, they're basically an expert on, it's misconstrued that they're only experts on wine. That's not true. Really, a sommelier, or som, or as I'll pronounce it sometimes, is someone who is a various expert on many different drinks that you have in any kind of establishment. It doesn't have to be wine. It could be vodka. It could be gin. I think it could be beer too. I'm not entirely sure. But they are essentially supposed to be the people you look to for advice on what to have for a good time, theoretically. Or what to have with, say, this food that you're about to eat. Or, just when they want to ask if they want to take you back on some kind of memory, what does that particular drink speak to you for? Stuff like that. And, fun fact, if you actually become a master sommelier, the pay grade is huge. Like, it's 160 grand a year. Shoot, I'll throw my hat in the ring. They're willing to pay that much just to be an expert on stuff that you just drink. That's insane. But that makes it all the more fascinating. Keep in mind, okay, well, to be honest, having money would be pretty sweet. But, you know, the fact that people really want to know, and I get why, because it can enhance whatever experience that you're going through. Again, and not like the fact that alcohol is a mind-altering substance, and just like, you know, again, just simply having a nice evening with family or something. Like, that's why, I would say the word fascinating a lot in this video, but that's what it is to me. And that's why, you know, I kind of expressed some interest in, you know, becoming a sommelier. So, a relative of mine, who actually will be visiting Mother's Day weekend, got me this book. In case you can't read it, it's called Wine Follies, The Master Guide by Madeline Puckett and Justin Hammock. And this book is, as what this what it says in the book and what it says in here, is meant to be like the best edition of this book you can find at the moment. Maybe sometime in the future there'll be like a discovery or something. Anyway, I want to make a few things abundantly clear before I go on. I've only read this book once so far since getting it. And I got it like right before the beginning of April. Again, I'm not much of a reader, so even this was kind of hard to do. But, you know, I thought about my future for a little bit, and I wanted to, again, because I am due for a career change, and this could potentially be a step in the right direction for me. So that's why I read the book. And actually, fun fact, I mean, there's lots of different pictures and like on different various like wines and stuff. It's really cool. And like there's some maps too. Like really, I can go on and on. Just like how many pages are like nothing but pictures. I mean, there's definitely pages where like you read stuff. To be sure. And having read the book, I said I read the book once. The two things I didn't read were the glossary and the index because, you know, whoever reads the glossary or an index like that, I mean, I guess if you want to say you read the book from cover to cover, you could say that. But I didn't read the glossary or the index. I didn't really feel like there was a need to do that because it's the glossary and the index. And for those of you who may have forgotten or don't know what they are, a glossary is basically like keywords that are scattered throughout the book that have been put into a section in the very back of the book with sort of meanings and definitions as to what those words are. And the index is, okay, let's say you want to look up what Riesling is. You know, you go to R, and the index is in alphabetical order. The glossary is also in alphabetical order too. The index is, you know, like look up Riesling begins with the letter R, so R. It's alphabetical order, so R-I. You keep going until you find it, and it tells you the page or pages that's on where it talks about. Listen, just because I don't like to read doesn't mean I don't know how. Okay? There is a huge difference. Of course I know how to read. I read this thing for goodness sakes. So that said, reading this book one time does not make me an expert on wine. I would never hold that kind of delusion of grandeur ever. That's not it. For that matter, there's only so much you can even retain through one read through. I mean, all I've retained was the fact that the 5 traits of wine are body, acidity, or sourness, tannins, sweetness, and alcohol. The 8 common wine types are sparkling, light white, full white, aromatic white, rosé, light red, full red, and dessert. The fact that wine may have originated in the Caucasus region, which would be modern day Armenia and Azerbaijan, around like 8,000 years ago at the very earliest. The fact that the United States is actually the 4th greatest producer of wine in the world, right behind Spain and France and Italy in increasing order. Holy crap, I actually retained a lot, didn't I? Huh. What do you know? I actually retained information from reading a book. Did I really just do that? So, needless to say, if you are aspiring to become a sommelier, or you are a wine expert already and you want to expand your horizons, or you're just starting to get into wine, because that's the great thing about this book that I noticed, outside of the fact that there's like no major like wines that you've heard of that begin with the letter E or the letter Y. Seriously, like, there's one that begins with the letter, there's 2 that begins with the letter Z, Zinfandel and White. Wow, I really did retain a lot of information from this book. And then there's like one that's like Zeno something or whatever, begins with the letter X, but nothing that begins with the letter Y. And it just goes from D to F in terms of wine names too. Wow, I retained a lot from this book. So, yeah. I guess, or maybe it was just because of all the pictures that are in this book so a dumb, bumbling idiot like myself can enjoy. Or maybe because deep down I really do find this more fascinating than even I'm letting on. But this is a good book. This is a book that, again, I recommend if you're a fan of wine, you already are a sommelier, you want to expand your horizons, or maybe you're just starting to get into it. This book is extremely approachable. It really is. Naturally, I do highly recommend that anyone who likes this stuff gives it a read. Obviously. I mean, personally, I do plan on reading it again. Again, I'm not going to read the glossary and the index because, who would actually do that? But reading it again, I would like to see what else I can retain. See if, it's still, I don't think I'm going to lose interest by reading this book twice. No way. But, I come to think that, you know what? I really could go on with what I learned. Like, seriously, there's 100 plus pages in here just about, the different names of wine that there are. And for a bunch of them, they actually tell you how to pronounce them. Which I do know how to do. Like Grenache, know how to do that. Okay, so maybe I didn't retain that much, but, this is me, guys. I don't like to read. Yet I found this to be one of the most fascinating things ever. Because I already found alcohol in general the most fascinating thing ever. But again, I hold no delusions of grandeur. This did not make me an expert on wine. No way. I didn't expect it to, though. Honestly, at the end of the day, to become any kind of sommelier, you need both practice and a little bit of know-how. And definitely with this book, I have some of the know-how. Now only time will tell what use I make out of it. But honestly, this just further proves how great of a year this was. Because, I mentioned how much I've been taking matters in my own hands about going out and stuff. But sometimes, even to enjoy yourself staying in, all you need to do is take matters in your own hands and get yourself a good book. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I am very humble to make this video for all you guys watching joyfully. And hopefully you have a wonderful Tuesday. Wow, I forgot what day of the week it was. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk, the channel, I'm always going to be here to lend you a nail. Always have your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby. Actually, hold on. Maybe this will be like the cover shot. I'm trying to keep it in center.